Hello, Facebook. It is Friday night, day 10, mindset reset. I'm going to take out my socks. It is hot in my house. I'm going to just wait to see who is on. I'm going to just share this really quickly on my page. If you would like to press share, that would be sweet as well. So you can maybe share it to your audience, to your friends. That would be really cool. Sharing is caring, and we got to get these messages out because January is our month to reset our mindset. So I would be ever so gracious if you were able to do that. I'm gonna wait a few minutes to see who pops on because I never really see who is on. Let's see. Okay, I shared that. Perfect. Okay, so we are going to get into day 10. Day 10 is, I probably could have done it earlier, this topic, but I didn't want to jump right into it, starting off the mindset reset. We're going to get into talking about dieting and body image. And honestly, I think that the way we feel about our bodies and, the space we take up in our bodies and the space we take up in our lives, really, it's just a reflection. So basically, the space we take up in our bodies is a reflection of the space we do take up in our lives. And we are going to talk about what I think when it comes to dieting, what I think what it means. Sorry, I'm doing many things, just making sure my connection works. What I think it means to Sorry. Okay, somebody was texting me. Really good. What I think what it means when it comes to dieting, taking up space in your body, taking up space in your life, I honestly think that when it comes to dieting, it is simply a distraction. So I think that body image issues and how we feel about our body and how we feel about the foods we consume, so basically like the relationships, these are all simply distractions. I have actually, so tonight we're going to talk about that. So I'm not sure who's on. Hello, because I can't always see who is on. So if my sound is good, give me a thumbs up. If you're watching this on the live, please say live. So I can say hey, because then I'll get to see your name and I'll see you on. If you watch this on the replay, same thing, right? Replay, and I'll come and say hey to you because I just love having you all here. We're creating an awesome movement. Hey, Jose, yes. And again, if people share, right, that you shared in the comments, and I'll give you a shout out because I honestly think that the more we talk about these things, the more we're going to normalize it because we are all living in the same society. So I actually shared a 2-year memory, I believe it was, if you go back on my private page, and it was, my blog title was Me Too in a World of Not Me's, and it was all based on food. So hello, love. Hey, Mona. Hey, Lena. Yes, I cut my hair, and I changed the color to camouflage, the glitter that grows in. And I'm going to start to learn to maybe embrace it. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I was due for a change. And I was like, yeah, and I love the products that I have. So this year, my goal is to grow mermaid hair. So I said, chop it off so I can have some pictures for my before and afters for hair. So, okay, side note. So Jay, let's talk about it. I want to know, who here has ever started a program and felt that, this isn't working for me, maybe I'm the problem, or maybe I'm doing something wrong. Like, let's just open up the floor. And you know what? Yes, maybe I'm being ballsy by totally coming right out, but you know what? This talk tonight is pretty much like a huge FU to the dieting industry. And this is coffee, not wine. It's coffee because I want to stay awake so I can have a little date night with my husband when he gets home from work. So yeah, huge FU to the dieting industry. I have no shame in my game. Why? Because I have lived it. I've learned from it. I'm grateful for all the struggles. And the more that I give talks to young girls in schools, I have a huge talk coming at the beginning of February for a school in Hurston. Just the more that I immerse myself into this is like, man, we have to change the language. Nothing is going to change unless we change how we see things, how we view things. And because I have little kids awake and you have little kids awake, I'm going to try to keep this PG. But yeah, it's basically like a huge FU to the dieting industry. Is that my industry? Yes. I'm an online coach. The difference I find between me and other coaches is that I do wholehearted empowerment. So my role, and if you look through any of my, well, actually my website's under construction right now, but if you were to look through any of my blog posts, I don't have any before and afters of clients. You might find some of me, but I'm still rethinking on what I'm going to do with that. And the reason I don't have before and afters is because I call BS on that. I don't find that it's setting us up in a healthy, to look at it through a healthy perspective. So to me, results are not just body. Okay, results to me are when you feel like you can take up space in your body and you could take up space in your life. And you're just going to own it. You're going to glow. So we work from the inner glow out. That's what Feed That Glow is all about. So I'm so happy. Yes, live a healthy lifestyle. So I see a lot of women on here. Again, come in. Say that you're watching it on the live so I can give you a shout out because I don't see everybody. And the replay peeps, same thing. When you're watching this on the replay, say replay and I will come and say hey. And again, if you share this video, if you write share in the comments and you've shared it to your page, I will give you a shout out. So tonight, let's get right into it. Do I think that it is okay to diet or to change your body shape? Okay, I have two answers for that. Two questions to get to the answers for that. Basically, I want to know why you want to change your body. Okay, so I get it. You know, like I'm actually going to learn how to contour and give myself like contouring and try to slim out my nose. But it doesn't mean that I don't love the way my face looks. I mean, I'm not totally in love with it, so I get it. Just like the body image things, the same thing. It's nice when you put on a pair of jeans that fit you and it feels good and you feel good, but we're going to work on the feelings because that's what it's about. So if you want to change your body or to go on a diet, my first question to you would be, how long have you been dieting? Because not a lot of people understand that you cannot be a professional dieter. When it comes to dieting, you need to give your body time to go back to maintenance and then hit homeostasis, which is like happy hormones, and you stay there. So good example of this, if you do a 12-week diet program, you need to double that to stay in maintenance and get your homeostasis and get everything like revved back up. So that means 24 weeks of no dieting. Okay, that is scary for some women. This is why certain programs I do not agree with, because if we're simply weighing ourselves, I mean, you can weigh yourself and you can take measurements, but guess what? If you're only using those two tools and you're not taking pictures and you're not using biofeedback as markers to see about your progress, and if you're not asking about like, how's your stress, how is your sleep, how's your active love life, how is all the things, you know, like how are you when you go to the washroom? Like I want to know all the things when I'm coaching my clients because I need to make sure that they are feeling good. It is not about hitting a number at all. So if you are dieting, I need to know how long you've been dieting. I need to know how long you've been dieting, and then let's talk about reverse dieting, or let's talk about living at maintenance for a while. Let's talk about building back up your metabolism because we cannot be professional dieters. If we stay too low in our calories, our bodies do not function as they need to. And here is the thing, our bodies are way smarter than us. So why would we want to fight it? Why? Like, it's going to win. It doesn't matter what you try to do. Your body is smarter than you. So I need us to understand we only have one body. And I know it sounds so cliche, but you just have one body. Do you want to really spend the rest of your life hating it? Or can we talk about changing the conversation and actually changing the way we view things, changing the way we do things, right? So like, that's what Feed That Glow is about. It's about thinking different, being different, doing different. Okay, so that is my whole message, is about learning to take up space in your body so that you'll then take up space in your life. So If you've been dieting, my answer to you is no. You do not need to jump on another program, get another coach, do another diet. It's not these things that are going to fix it. I'm actually going to say do the mindset work. Mindset is huge. It is actually the huge driving force behind all of the things. So let's do that work instead. I need to know what your blockages are. Like, what is the blockage? Why are you scared of gaining weight? And here is the thing. I totally understand. Listen, I have been 100 pounds overweight. Yes, I was pregnant, but it doesn't matter. And I have been what would have been considered by society as the acceptable weight. And now I'm somewhere in between. And okay, in my head, the old Crystal from like 4 years ago thought that I was more worthy to society and more valuable to society when I was smaller. So I really understand that mindset. But when you can switch it and you learn to stand proud in who you are now, everything else is a byproduct. Okay? I get it. We have PMS days. We have days where we feel more fluffy. This is called hormones. Let's normalize it. Listen, we don't have flaws. I hate those posts that say embrace your flaws. Like, I'm going to go on a tangent here. Embrace your flaws? Who is the one who said you had flaws in the first place? Like, can we question this, please? If 98% of women have cellulite on their booties, why is it a flaw? Why can't it be fancy fat, fancy skin, like tiger stripes? Like, why does it have to be a flaw? Why do we have to make it so imperfect, you know? And this is why I like to use the approach anti-perfection, because perfection does not exist. We are trying to compare ourselves to a model that she doesn't even look like it. So what are we fighting for? Why are we struggling is basically it. So a whole large tangent is, let's look about figuring out how you feel about yourself right now and like get into that space. Second thing, okay, if your answer is no, it's fine. If you can tell me, you know what, I'm fine if I never lose another pound again, then okay. Okay, start to explore, because you're not attached. You can't be attached to that outcome. I get it, wanting to drop a few pounds. I get it. But it's just to be different. It's not to be better, right? So you need to understand, and am I still on? Because sometimes I see people coming on and off. So just let me know if the internet is being wonky. But it's basically about that, is to see, like, if you were to never lose another pound in your life, would you be okay with that? Okay? And that's a hard question to answer. I understand. But if you're not attached to the outcomes and you are honestly doing it to be healthier, okay? Now let's talk about healthy. You're doing it to be healthier. You're doing it to have more energy. You're doing it to feel better about yourself. Then yes, you can go, because you're not attached to a number. This is what I'm getting at. So you need to understand that you're already worthy AF right now. It's not when you're going to be a smaller version of yourself. It's just different. It is just different. So if I were to decide, hey, you know what, I think I could drop a few pounds, it's not because I would think that I would be better. It would just be different. And I wouldn't be training for the same reasons. It would be just to be different. So these are the questions, and they're hard questions that you have to ask yourself, like, do the deep stuff. The second thing I want to know is, do you have any food FOMOs? And for those who don't know what food FOMOs are, I have a whole bunch on my blog. But food FOMOs is basically fear of missing out. You can have FOMOs for all the things in life. You know, people go to a party and you're like, oh, I'm so tired, I should go to bed, but I'm really don't want to miss if something interesting happens. Or watching TV, Netflix FOMO, you know, you're watching a season and you're like, oh, I want to keep going. I want to keep watching. I don't want to miss. So the fear of missing out is actually a huge concept, especially with food. So if you are afraid of missing out, meaning you tell yourself, oh, well, if I don't eat this thing now, I might not ever get to eat it again, right? So that comes with the restrict and the deprive. It all attaches together. So if you have that kind of relationship with food, or if you have the all or nothing mindset, you know, the no excuses, super hardcore, clean eating, all that, like if you're using those as your driving tools, then I'm going to ask you, like, maybe it's time to change that language and actually go and explore that relationship. Because again, food issues and body image issues, they're all distractions to us feeling like we're not enough. They are all distractions. And there's layers and layers of why we will feel like we're not enough. Social media is a huge one. But again, everything is curated. So, you know, if you follow people who are more authentic and more raw, and you get to see their messy houses, and you get to see when they drink wine, which, by the way, this is, again, coffee. If you see me drinking, it is coffee. You see the realness. We want to see more real people. I want to see more women showing their cellulite on their legs, or their stretch marks, or their varicose veins. Can we please normalize this? Because we are a society that needs it. We need it. Enough of everything being so photoshopped and perfect. Like, yes, I get it. I love to take pictures with filters. I do. Sometimes it hides the blackness. But every time I take a picture like that, I'm always questioning, what message am I sending? Okay? So it's as a collective, we need to change as a collective, and it's one small thing at a time, right? Just like I forget which day video it was, but it's one small thing at a time. So once we're aware of the thing, we're able to work at, you know, tweaking it. So again, do I think that dieting, that you could diet, and do I think it's wrong? It's a yes and a no. And it's basically about you going in here and seeing, why are you doing that? Okay. And if your answer is because you feel like you're going to be more worthy, people are going to respect you more, all these things. I mean, here, you want to hear like a side note. When I first started online coaching, I was in the midst of my metabolic adaptation. Okay. Like, I did a rebound from restrictive dieting, from, you know, like, and not talking just about my bodybuilding stuff. I mean, I can honestly admit dieting has been a huge thing. I just grew up like that. You know, those slim fast diets and, you know, all the things, because it is so common in our language. If you have little girls at home, ask them, have these conversations, because they are hearing it from their friends. Okay? Children have a tendency to repeat what they see and hear. So if you are not having the open conversations with your daughters right now, and yes, I understand little boys too, but I coach women, but I do give talks to my boys. You need to be open about it. Have the talks, because here is the thing. We live in a culture that lies. Everything's photoshopped. We have this fat fear, you know, like if you have a little girl that comes to you and says that she thinks she's fat, the worst thing you could tell her is, oh my God, no. Because that message that you just sent her is that being fat is wrong and bad. That's not the messages we should be telling our kids. We need to be honest and open. We need to talk about that. We need to ask her, what does she mean when she grabs her stomach and says she feels fat? Let's talk about that feeling, right? It's not about the physical shape of the body. Let's talk about what's happening in here. We need to be addressing more of the emotional stuff. We need to help them build the emotional resiliencies. We need to have these conversations with our kids, because they are growing up in an age where, when I was little, I didn't have social media. Thank God. I have no idea how I would have gotten through my teens. For sure. No idea. You know, probably my early adulthood too, because, you know, let's be honest. But I mean, I'm being real here. We have kids that are on their devices all the time, and it's sad to me. What are they consuming? Let's talk about that. You know, when I remember day one was unfollow. I would like you to have those conversations with your kids. Ask them, unfollow people who don't make them feel like they are worthy enough. And if they say, oh, it's because I love this person, I would go deeper, because there were people that I was following that I honestly thought were motivating me, and actually they weren't. So you need to go deep. So yeah, that was just a side note. I didn't realize I was doing all this tangent stuff. Sorry, if you're liking what you're hearing, please tell me that we're good for time and you guys are feeling me here. Have the honest conversation with yourself. Ask yourself, like, are you stuck in that all or nothing mindset? Do you have the fear of foods? Do you have all these food rules? Okay. This, I can tell you right now, if you have over 20 nutritional food rules or whatever, you are guaranteed to follow zero. So why don't we just explore what food really is? Why does it have to be good or bad? Like, I would really love us to strip the labels that we attach to our food. We need to strip the labels we attach to our food. If you tell yourself that you're good because you ate a salad, but you're bad because you're gonna be bad because you ate a poutine, what messages are you telling your inner self? You know what I mean? And on top of that, what you need to do is start rebuilding that trust, that self-trust you have with your food. So if you go to a party and there is a table full of food, you need to allow yourself to enjoy some of the food. Not because you'll never get to eat it again, but because you're choosing to. There's a big difference between saying, I can't have it, so I'm going to restrict it, and instead I'm not going to go out because I've done that. Or saying, I'll go out, but I'll bring my food in containers, and then I get there, and then I feel like I'm deprived, so instead I'll just stay at the table and eat all the food. I was that girl. You know what I mean? Like, can we just practice being more kind to ourselves? Can we just practice, I'm going to try this because it looks good to me. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to eat it all. And if I like it, I'll eat it all. And it's end of story. Why do we need to attach a label to it? Why do we need to draw attention? That's another thing. I need you. Give me a thumbs up if you have witnessed this, because it is in all of our language. If you are eating something, we like to draw attention, especially when we think it's bad, right? Because we're trying to I don't know. For me, when I would draw attention, like, oh my God, look at how bad I'm being. Oh my God, shikashan. Like, I've done that. And I can tell you the reason that I was doing that is because I wanted somebody else to join in with me so I wouldn't feel so guilty and I wouldn't feel so all alone. So if you are the type of person that's eating something and you're announcing it to everybody, I'm going to ask you, sit with that feeling. Why do you need to show everybody that you're eating the chocolate cake? Eat it. Or if you want to split it, but you don't have to attach labels to it. So again, depending on what those answers were to how you're feeling in your body, how you're feeling with your relationship to food, you want to know the best way to practice self-trust is to write out your food no list, the foods that you are banning and you're no longer going to consume, which, P.S., restriction creates obsession. The minute you say you can't have something, that is all you're going to want, and that is all you're going to see, and all you're going to dream about. So write out a list of what foods do you think are not acceptable? What foods do you think are bad? We like to villainize all the carbs, all the fats. Oh my gosh, it's insane. You want to know what the best diet to follow is? The way that you can keep eating the rest of your friggin' life. It's not by saying, I'm going to cut out all the carbs. Yeah, you might lose weight. Cut out all the fat. Sure, you're going to drop weight. Why? Because you're restricting. You're not eating the calorie consumption you were previously eating. Duh. It's, and not to sound so, I know it all, but it's like, man, if you were to take into consideration that you were actually cutting out calories, of course you're going to drop water. And of course you're going to drop the weight. You're probably losing muscle. It's not always fat. And that is never a good thing. So we need to be aware of the madness. If you've been dieting for any time, I'm going to tell you, stop dieting. If you weigh yourself every day, I'm going to tell you, throw your scale out in the garbage. Okay? So these are little things you're going to do for me, and you're going to come back and tell me because you're awesome like that. I would like to propose what you can do now. So if you are taking notes, that'd be great. If not, that's cool too. Are people still on here? Because it seems to have stopped. And man, I would really hate if it stopped filming. So let's go on and check my internet. What you can do now. Oh, if you are taking notes, that'd be great. Oh my gosh, what is this? Do you hear me listening to myself? So what we're going to do is you're going to get some notes right now. I want you to write down anti-perfect. Okay? Anti-perfect or anti-perfection, whatever feels good to you. And when it comes to you choosing foods to eat, I want you to be less strict. I want you to have a little bit of fun. So something that takes the edge off. Okay, thank you, Jose. Something that takes the edge off. I feel like I'm lecturing you girls. You're so quiet. Give me something. Tell me that you're here. Please tell me that I'm not making you feel like a little schoolgirl. You're going to evaluate the food that you eat, and you're going to give yourself satisfaction. So the satisfaction scale is huge. So yeah, I love to eat salads, but I'm not just gonna like, and I'm kind of like a psycho, I don't put salad dressing, but I will put cheese, bacon, I put things that make me happy. I don't really like salad dressing, so that's just, I'm weird like that. And the reason I say psycho is because there was this meme my friend shared with me, and it said something that psychos eat their salads without dressing, so I don't know. But you're going to look for the satisfaction scale. I also want you to understand that there is a huge gap between being stuffed and being starved. So if you are starving all the way up to stuffed, it's a huge gap. We tend to eat until we're stuffed. So we're going to explore this huge gap and eat until we're 80% full, right? We're going to explore, and I have a whole bunch of free tools on my blog that you can get, like the 2-bite rule, and to know like how you're feeling, to check in with what your hunger signals are, because that's another thing. We're not used to paying attention because we're so distracted when we're eating. We're either on our phones, we're eating in a rush. We don't sit down to eat a lot of times. So it's about really checking into the hunger cues too, and understanding like, am I really hungry, or am I thirsty, or am I bored, or maybe I'm sad? Just understanding, like, here's a tip. If you keep opening up your fridge and you can't find something to eat, and you go to the cupboard and you can't find something, you're not hungry. You are probably bored, or maybe you're lonely, maybe you're stressed. So maybe go sit with those feelings and figure out what is happening, because we like to use food as a comfort. Okay, and you know why we do that? This is a fascinating thing. When we were little, when we were newborns, we got comfort by our moms with food. They held us close. We could smell their skin. It didn't matter if they were breastfeeding or bottle feeding. It doesn't matter. It's the closeness. It's the comfort. So food became comfort for us. Do you understand like the pattern? So this is why when we're stressed, when we're depressed, you can be angry, like all the things. If you use food as your go-to, that's because you have a really huge, deep connection to it. It makes you feel safe. That's comfort food comes from that. This is fascinating, right? So I need you to understand there's a huge gap between starving and stuffed. Also, look for that satisfaction scale. And practice anti-perfection. Anti-perfection meaning if you decide to eat a muffin for breakfast, it's just a muffin. Move on. Okay? It doesn't mean you need to starve yourself at your next meal or cut out carbs at your next meal. Like, you don't have to do that, because having that mindset sets you up. So we don't eat our meals. It's like what you decide to eat for breakfast will influence what you eat for lunch, will influence what you eat for supper. And how do I know that? Because on myself. If I had a crappy breakfast and I told myself it was a crappy breakfast, well, come lunchtime, I might as well eat a crappy lunch because I already ate a crappy breakfast. Now, do you see how that mindset just can continue on, that train wreck? Whereas if I just said, I ate a muffin, it was good, move on. Maybe I didn't eat the whole thing because I understood that my body wasn't hungry for the whole thing. Or maybe I ate a whole one and wanted half of another. It's regardless, I was listening to my body cues and how I felt. It's about how you feel about the food you're eating. That is huge. Like the sciences is all coming out with this now. So what we tell ourselves about the food we eat has way more of a huge impact on your health, overall health, than the food itself. So I've always said there are no bad foods. There are no bad foods. And now science is proving it. It's this that makes you sad. It's this that makes you feel like you messed up. So if you practice a little bit less perfection, if you practice the anti-perfection, then that just allows you to be more compliant, and compliant not in the sense that you're on or off, compliant in the sense that it's just detached. You can detach all your meals. You can have your breakfast, be aware, have your lunch, be aware, without it being an influence in that negative way, like that cycle. Let's make it more positive, like a positive relationship. Hey buddy, I'm on live right now. Okay, then you're going to practice building your self-trust. So building your self-trust, I already talked about it basically, but I want you to write out a list of all the foods that you think are bad, or of all the rules. I mean, who here has heard stop eating after 6 p.m.? Or don't eat carbs before bed? Or, I mean, okay, no, I want you to write down all the rules. And if you were to Google any of these rules, like everything contradicts itself. So no wonder everybody's confused. But see, the thing is, we don't have a problem with weight loss in our society. We have a problem with like weight maintenance, because anybody can drop weight. Anybody can drop weight. How about we just stay at a healthy weight? Anybody? Like, why do we need to be yo-yoing? So I want you to write down all the rules that you believe or that you've heard or somebody's told you. Write them all down. I want you to write down all the foods that you believe are wrong or bad or whatever. Write them all down. And then to practice your self-trust, I want you to pick something from that list and I want you to eat it. And as you eat it, I want you to be aware and I want you to write down what it feels like to eat that food. So this is just a little trick that I give in my coaching programs, my Food Freedom Academy. I have a lot of mindset work that we do just to unpack a lot of the BS that we've been fed, okay? It's just unpacking. Like, is it true? Is it not true? Because once you realize that something is no longer true for you or that it's not serving you, then before you let it go, you can acknowledge it. You can acknowledge all the things you've learned and then let it go. And you get to rewrite another narrative that actually serves you. So I want you to practice that. And number 3, let me see. Okay. Number 3, and this is huge. I want you to start wearing clothes that fit your body. True story. I don't know how many women, I used to have all the sizes. About 2 years ago, I think, when I did my whole, the magic gift or whatever, tidying up, that book is really fabulous, by the way. I just decided I was done. I was done with having like size whatever to size, like I was done. So I just took all the clothes that no longer fit the body now and I gave them away. Done. And I know a lot of women, we spend good money on our clothes. Give it away to somebody who could love it more. I mean, that was the reasoning I had in my head, was like, I felt bad for my clothes just sitting on a hanger and not getting any love and attention. Give your clothes away to somebody who will appreciate them and you will feel good. So it's again about abundance. It's about being generous and it's about being kind to yourself. Because the thing with keeping clothes that are a few sizes too small is that we think it motivates us, but it actually doesn't. Every time you go to try that thing on to gauge your progress, I want you to actually sit and think, does this really make me feel good? Or do I tear myself down more? So if you have clothes in your closet, I would like you, this is the number one thing that I want you to do this weekend. I want you to create a pile and I want you to give it away. I want you to dress your body with clothes that fit you now. And the thing, ladies, stop relying on the number on the clothing, okay? All clothing sizes, depending on what company and all that, it's all made for marketing. And again, it's the twisted views of society. So you might say, I always wear a size small, I always wear a size small, and then you go to try a size medium and it doesn't fit you. I need you to remove the way that your self-worth, I want you to remove that feeling. It is not attached to your self-worth. I want you to take your self-worth back and put it back in here. It belongs not to the clothes sizes. It belongs not to the scale. It belongs right here and right here. Your self-worth is not going away. So I need you to understand that. This is why I say a big F you to the dieting industry. And yes, I work in the dieting industry. I want you to know you're not broken. You are not broken. You do not need to be fixed. If there are things you need to work on, like your relationship with your body and your relationship with your food, this is what I'm around. And there are other coaches like me, and they're coming out of the woodwork. There will be more. But I want you to get deep and look and question inside, why do I want to change my body? Why do I want to, whatever, drop weight? Why do I want to weigh this number on the scale? I want you to go deep, because it is that deep work that is going to help unpack all the stories that are, I'm going to say, not serving you anymore. And the biggest thing you can do for yourself right now is to get rid of the clothes that don't fit you and dress your body with clothes that feel good to you and that fit your body, because there's just something about wearing something and nobody knows what size you are. Why do we think that we walk around with our weights on our head and with our sizes on our shirts sticking out? Like, we don't. Nobody cares. Everybody's worried about their own stuff. So if you start standing proud and learning to take up space in your body amidst all of this BS, like, you're going to be far better off with this way. And you're setting the tone. You're going to be a role model. Like, if you have young kids, they need to see that. They need to see that, sure, you know, they need to see all this. We need to change the language. We need to really strip those words from the power they have and take that power back. Because you are worthy AF right now. It's not a size, it's not a number, it's not a nothing. You already are worthy. And I want you to see that. And I want you to grab it and I want you to own it. So that comes with practice. So that's why that's what your homework is going to be tonight or this weekend. Go through your clothes. And the last thing that I'm going to finish on is, listen, food issues are not something that we need to overcome. Okay? It's something we need to learn to let go of. So that is why, if you go on my blog, I have tons of things to help you retrain your brain to know that food is just food. It's not good or bad. We can strip it from the guilt and the shame, and we can start to stand back into our power, because you're already worthy. Nobody cares what size you are, right? We're too hard on ourselves. If you are doing this because you want to be healthier, I need you to understand that ultimate health is this. It's this and it's this. Everything else is a byproduct. Honest to God, it is a byproduct. The minute you start, that's why I teach macros, not because I want people to be tracking their food for the rest of their life. It is just to open up their eyes to understand, oh, it's just a chocolate bar. It's just got a bit of carbs and a bit of fat. It's not a big deal. Oh, this is just whatever. It helps open up their eyes to be like, I can enjoy food that I like. Because it's about learning to like how you eat and like how you move. Because then maybe you're going to like more how you live. And that is why I teach macro counting, just because they can see and then they can transition into intuitive eating. And that feels really good when you can just walk in and trust yourself and be like, I'm going to eat this because I want to eat it and I feel good. No guilt. Done. I'm not going to go work out after because or do those stupid memes of like 1,001 burpees because I had a chocolate bar. Like, those are baloney. Okay. We know moderation and moderation. I have Curb 365. It's about honoring how you eat today and how you're going to eat at Christmas and how you eat at your birthday, how you eat all week. It doesn't have to be, because I used to live like that. I would eat so good on Monday because the weekend was crap. Okay, so I'd eat so good on Monday. By Wednesday, I was tired. I started to feel edgy. I needed something to take the edge off, but I couldn't take the edge off. And then by Friday, I was like, screw it, I'm having a cheat. And that cheat turned into like a weekend binge fest. So of course Monday I was more strict and pulled in the reins harder. This is why I speak the way I do, because I totally understand. I'm living it. I've lived it. And now I want to teach that you don't have to live like that. There is a whole other world. So yes, huge FU to the dieting industry, because guess what? You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. If we started to take our power back, my God, the whole industry would crash, because we would be like, we don't need your stuff. We don't need these quick fixes and these wraps and these whatever. And yes, I do have friends who sell these things. That is totally cool. But listen, man, I know for me, when I have clients that come to me crying because they tried certain things and it wasn't working and they think that they're the problem, nah, man, I'm gonna be your voice, girl. I got your back. It is not you that is broken, okay? That system wasn't made for you, and that is okay. Meal plans to me are bullshit. Like, sorry I said PG, but they just, no. Meal plans are BS. I would rather teach you what a food is, eat it, enjoy it, live. Because when you start restricting too much your food, you are obviously restricting your life. And life's too short, man. So yeah, thanks, Vicky. Nat did my hair. And that is all I got. So basically, women, and I get it. If you don't share this video because, I totally get it. It's not a big deal. But I hope that I said something that resonated with you. And if I said something that lit something up, either you agree with me or you don't, inbox me. Let's have that conversation. Let's take it on the inbox. Let's take it on the email. I just want you to know that you are worthy, and my message to you is that you're worthy right now. You don't have to change anything. You're already awesome. Let's just fix this. Fix this and your whole world will change, guaranteed. So that's all I got. I'm going to now go and tidy up because my man's coming home. And I hope you all, I don't think anybody had questions. And I will be back on tomorrow night. We're going to talk more mindset stuff. I can't remember what it is. I'll have to look at my Stack the Wins. But we're going to talk more mindset stuff. And if there's anything you want me to talk about in these next 21 days, well, actually, what are we? Today's day 10? So in the next 11 days. Let me know. I can also leave one of those days as a Q&A. I was honestly thinking maybe we'll do a Q&A. I think tomorrow's talk is all about the imposter syndrome, because I really want to help you stand more in your power and go take up your space in your life, because we need you. The world needs you today, now. So that's all I got. Peace, love.